You are looking at Theodosius IV, the man who realized the dream of House Angelos. It took them 4 generations, but they have finally restored the Roman Empire. The new Roman Empire is vast, stretching all the way from France to Persia. Theodosius has no intention of slowing down and wants to continue his expansion. But he is aware that his realm now contains people from all different types of cultures, and it may be time to start hybridizing Greek with some other cultures in order to make long-term assimilation more feasible. In terms of expansion, Theodosius is still primarily focused on ending the Iberian struggle. He recently took all of South Iberia and is in the progress of converting that over to Orthodoxy, but interestingly, the new king in Lyon isn't actually Orthodox, but Catholic, which means that Theodosius is going to have to go to war once again inside of Iberia. Iberia will take time in order to see the light of orthodoxy, and in the meantime, Theodosius is focused on taking care of the only other empire that exists in the western part of the known world currently, which is Scandinavia. Their power has waned recently as the Roman vassals have been chipping away at them, but Theodosius aims to put an end to this other empire once and for all. This is normally when I say welcome back to the Byzantine Empire, but instead, for the very first time, welcome to the Roman Empire, where the Senate has spoken. The comment section is being heard. Today, we're going to form a hybrid culture, if I can find it in my massive list of hybrid cultures, with none other than Italian. We are going to be naming this brand new hybrid culture Latin, and we're going to be giving it the nice Kilnotik orange up here as well. For the ethos, we're going to go bureaucratic. It makes sense with a realm of our size. This will give all characters a plus 10% monthly lifestyle experience, plus 5% cultural fascination progress. The minority vassals won't like it, but will also get plus 15% development growth in all counties of this culture. Heritage-wise, we are going to swap over from Eastern Roman over to Latin. The language, I am going to stay the same. I know there was some comments around going for Italian Vulgar. I just don't know if that makes a huge amount of sense from an RP perspective though, just suddenly changing the entire language. Pretty much our entire realm speaks Greek at this stage. I feel like we would hold on to the language, but we will be merging a lot of things when it comes to the aesthetic in particular. For traditions, we're going to be keeping everything that made us Roman in the first place, with Roman ceremonies obviously for things like chariot races as well as the triumphs. We're going to keep cultivated sophistication. This does mean that other rulers may actually hybridize more often, which is fine. We'll also get a development growth boost when we upgrade or build a new building in our estate. We are also going to keep palace politics. This does mean that we'll have the ability to continue to blind and castrate prisoners. It also means the eunuch system remains in place, which typically House Angelos haven't had the most amount of fun with, but it is tradition at this stage. It also means we can keep our head of the Varangian Guard. We will keep Imperial Tagmata as well, enabling us to keep our unique men at arms. What we are going to pick up is Republican Legacy. This is very Roman indeed, ultimately giving a big boost to all of our cities as well as Republican vassals. So rulers of this culture can appoint up to 4 counts to be overseers of local cities, which will turn them in to Republican vassals. It also means that cities give more taxes, development, and levies, but it does lower their control gain. It also makes parochial vassals more common, and the city main buildings can be built one era earlier. We're going to pick up loyal subjects as well, which makes the loyal trait more common, as well as giving an overall boost to opinion of liege and popular opinion. And we're also going to pick up seafarers, making the trade port line of buildings increasing control growth, as well as giving more levies and the size of men-at-arms regiments. We can now sail in major rivers, and the trade port line of buildings can also be built in tribe holdings. We don't have many of those, but we do have a few. I have been aiding in tribal development where I can to make them feudal and then ultimately admin. The big one as well is it also makes it 85% cheaper for us to actually embark our army. And seeing as though our army is going to be going all over the world, that will be quite helpful. Aesthetic wise, I'm going to keep Eastern European military equipment, but we are going to take both naming practices. So we'll start seeing both Italian and Greek names and a merge of the two. Architecture-wise, we're going to keep Byzantine. Fashion, we're going to take both. And coat of arms, we are also going to take both. We will pick up Arch Saddle and Hereditary Rule, which are the remaining two innovations we need within this era before going into High Medieval. So we'll fully finish out this era and we'll be able to start fresh in High Medieval with Latin. But without further ado, let's form this culture. The Latin hybridization. Spurred on by the positive relations and increased cultural exchange, the Italian and Greek peoples have grown increasingly close over the years. Now, individuals from these societies have begun to view themselves not as one or the other, but as both, simultaneously a new Latin culture. With the Latin people now looking to me for guidance, it is time to set the stage for our shared future. To a new age, a new era, and new people. Now obviously, cultural conversion is slow. There's only really a few counties in the heartland of our empire that have immediately turned Latin, but practically all of our vassals have converted. I'm going to spend the next 6 hours probably with the amount of vassals that we have going down here, making sure that they are all the right religion. If they are Latin, I'm going to have them spreading culture, and we'll also make sure they're on the correct admin stance. I will be back to you in the next 3 working days. Okay, there we go. That's done. Everybody who is Latin is now either promoting culture or religion if needed, and those who are not are currently building economic buildings, but over time I may try and overthrow them with actual Latin people to continue to have that to spread. But let's check back in a bit. I expect we will see it actually start to grow a bit. It'll just take some time. Now that the culture and vassals are all sorted, it is back to our current primary goal of ending the Iberian struggle. As a refresher, this is currently where we are at with the Iberian foothold. We need 50% of our kingdoms de jure counties inside of Iberia to be Orthodox. Believe the kingdom we currently hold is Valencia, and if we have a look over here at fates, every single ruler who holds these lands is Orthodox. They just have yet to be converted. Now we are still working on a new Caesar legend. We can complete this in 3 years. I'll likely immediately then start another either spiritual triumph or protector of Orthodox holy site, so we can evangelize the realm once again, which would convert vast kind of amounts of our actual realm as well. Although I sort of feel like in 3 years, our vassals may actually work enough to actually convert these over to Orthodox. Now, we can also usurp the other kingdom of Navarra here. He's just currently fighting off a adventurer. The other kingdom we have up here is Leon. Interestingly, the ruler is now Catholic. Previously, he was definitely Orthodox, but it looks like whoever has inherited or taken control of this title, what actually happened here? Inherited via abdication. So it's now actually a Catholic man in control of Leon. That's fine, all the more reason for us to launch another Roman invasion for the other half of Hispania. Let's get after it. Now, ideally, we can deal with this war quick because the Bedouin Ashari faction have not gone away. Take me over to where this is all kicking off. It's over here, the newly conquered lands inside the Viceroyalty of Persia. If we look at fates over here, about half of this land is still actually Ashari. So they may raise up, but I'm sure we'll be able to deal with them. We just ideally want to deal with this war first. Unlike previously, where the majority of our expansion was westward, we were hitting sort of Catholics initially, and then we were friendly with them. And then by the time we dismantled the papacy and mended the Great Schism and it became hostile, Catholicism was already a very small religion. That's not going to be the case as we actually progress to the east, though. Ashari is still very much alive over here, and they will be fighting back as we start to conquer these provinces. Interestingly, though, we are not far off from taking these lands and then instead bordering Tengri and some of the Indian religions down here as well. Ashari is still present as well in the south of Africa. Interestingly, the majority of Africa is now Zaydism, which is another Muslim faith. We do also consider them to be evil, so we can holy war down here if needed, but I suspect my vassals may beat me to it. Also, now that we are in the High Medieval era, I'm going to start off by researching hoardings. 165 years, but if we focus on it, down to 8. That is what we like to see. Hoardings is going to block us off from many of the other upgrades, so best to get that first. We can upgrade all of our castles. Once we get around to getting the innovations that we need as well, we can then finally start building granaries in Egypt and reinstate the grain dole. Now, we have raised about half of our army, and that is still more than enough to deal with the Kingdom of Leon here. I'm going to try and grab a battle nice and early, siege down the capital. Oh boy, another plague. Now, this one was in Adrianopolis, which, if I'm not mistaken, is actually very close to home. Yes, it is. Well, straight into seclusion for me, please. Thank you very much. Let's lock this door. We are going to get secluded, but I don't want any more of my children to die from the plague. We already lost our 2 youngest sons yesterday. I am not getting any of my family members taken by this one. Now, in the first battle, we managed to immediately capture the king. That's 100%. Thank you very much. We'll enforce our demand straight away and we'll disband all. Now, we're still not technically considered to be involved inside of the Iberian struggle, rather ironically, but even if we were, we still can only end it at certain stages. We can't currently end it in the compromise stage, but I wanted to have a look at, say, the Roman dominance ending and have a look at what it is that we need. It has to be in the hostility phase. We have to completely control the region of Iberia. The Roman Empire has to be held for 5 years. We have to be involved, which is the decision that we're going for. But interestingly, we also need every de jure county of our capital kingdom, which is Thessalonica, to be Latin and Orthodox. So that is another reason for us to speed up the cultural conversion in our base kingdom, as it actually is going to factor in to how we end the Iberian struggle. That's going to take some time as we convert over those counties and also just wait to actually convert some more land inside of Iberia here. Even though we hold these kingdoms up here, it has to border a de jure kingdom. So I think we're going to have to wait till Valencia is actually acceptable, and then we can become involved and start working towards ending the struggle itself. In the meantime, it's time to clean up some land in the middle of our realm. Galicia Volhynia here has managed to hold on this long. Our vassals are chipping away at them, but it's time for us to put them to rest. Now, our personal men-at-arms should be more than enough to deal with this war. The enemy army is already caught fighting some of my vassals and whatnot. We're going to head down and once again see if we can just capture the ruler. So we didn't capture the ruler. We can't win them all, but we did win the battle. A few sieges here and we should be good to go. I also really like the way that our army was about twice the size of the enemy army, we were still able to fully wipe them. No retreats at all. More popular support for being a conqueror. Wonderful gifts. Thank you all. Actually, when you see my soldiers feed them, we'll get widespread peasant support. Interestingly, what we've actually stumbled into here was a northerner conquest inside Galicia Volhynia, which they may have actually lost. So this actually suits us down to the ground because we can both get this land for ourselves and make sure that the land doesn't split and require us to go to war twice. Now, some of my vassals are picking up smallpox, but this is an enemy I cannot protect him from. Look at all of this madness. This is what happens when there's a plague in my realm. Everything starts to change. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, as soon as you want to... Okay, yep, okay. If you could just stop the... yeah. It looks like our son, Julius, has managed to pick himself up the province of Vidin. And because he is a governor and my other children are not, that does mean that he is now in first place for the Roman Empire itself. It's probably a good idea for me to actually try and get a governorship for Justinian as well. He is kind of our #1 choice because of his age. The sooner he can be a governor, start gaining some stats in the governor trait, and we can actually also mentor him in governance, the better. But for now, let's deal with this war, and we'll have a look at our family in a second. We are now 50, so it is time to start to consider who will actually succeed us. I've become friends with King Proki of Bjarmaland here after I danced with him. Great to see. We're still making friends. There it is. That is 100% for Galicia Volhynia. We can enforce our demands here. And that is the somewhat annoying hole in the middle of our empire fully shored up. It is now only really at the edges of our empire that we need to expand. I mean, there's some lands over here to sort out, Scandinavia, and 1 or 2 counties inside of Iberia still as well. Now, the northerner conquest we inherited has also been dealt with rather easily, so we can enforce our demands here, and we can disband all of our armies. It is also now time to pick up another dynasty legacy. We were continuing down blood here. The next one is architected ancestry. We can select a congenital trait to become more common in the dynasty. What do we want to pick here? Thus far, what we've mainly been seeing is quick. I've been marrying into Hale and Amazonian, and we've had some comely characters as well. I might actually pick Fecund here. 50% extra fertility, as well as life expectancy and years of fertility. This will be very nice, particularly if we have an emperor with this trait. Even more kids to choose from, and we can have kids later on in life, which means more options for young emperors. Now, my friend, the King of Biarmaland's after dying, and we've had a mental break. I think this might actually be the first ever mental break of Theodosius. Now, we are a drunkard, so we could go on a drinking binge, which would be non-ideal. It's only level 1. Let's try and resist these impulses for now, and then let's actually try and host some activities to help ourselves out here. What's going on over here? We have some revolts. That's fine. Listen, if you can deal with it, you're supposed to be governor. If you can't, then you're not supposed to be governor. That's just basically what it's going to be. Making sure the attacker is orthodox here. He is. Not a great character. He's also Greek. I'd prefer Latin, but we can sort that out. No real issues. Let us actually, for the first time ever, host a grand tournament in the capital. Celebration of our new culture and of the glory of Rome. We will, of course, have a melee. What else will we have? A joust, absolutely. What else? What else? Maybe a duel. And then a horse race as well. We will participate in every single one of these, absolutely. Let's get this going. Our intent is absolutely going to be to triumph. We want to win every single event here, and we'll max out the accommodations as well as the prizes. Here we go. There's 223 people here already, and the melee actually begins in 3 months. Let's start in the tourney grounds. I could make sure my wife is looking and try and impress her to increase the fertility, or I could say the only person I need to impress is myself and increase my score. That's absolutely what we're going to do to make sure that we actually qualify. Now, I tried to hit up the tavern before the event began to try and get my stress back down. The problem is the event that's on is gambling, and because I am zealous, I am no gambler. Here we go. Look at me in my armor, ready to go. The contest begins. First one up is the melee. We are ambitious, but a zealous man. God would not want us to sabotage anybody, so we are not going to. A horrendous groan pierces the excited hubbub. A stand overloaded with spectators gives way with a crash. Its mass of screaming victims are sent tumbling from view. I could execute the builders. We would gain 13 dread. I could say it is the bereaved we must look to and gain compensated victims. The magistracy of Byzantium would lose stands collapsed and gain compensated collapse. Okay, so it would ultimately still be a popular opinion debuff, but not as bad. Or I can do nothing. Listen, we can take care of the bereaved. Only 450 gold. Of course we can take care of the bereaved. I spy a few of my teammates restoring themselves. They greet me wearily as I slump down beside them, weary and aching. Watching from my shady position, I can see a resourceful market seller readying some hastily assembled food and drink to sell to the shattered fighters. I will absolutely beckon over the seller. It's another 450 gold, but it greatly increases my team's score, and we can absolutely afford it. Now, I've become cornered in the melee. I can say, stand back, these men are mine. It's a prowess challenge. 92% chance I gain the trait wounded, but I would lose stress because I'm ambitious, or I can say, now have at them. We will gain a little bit of stress because we're ambitious, but an 81% chance that our score increases. Listen, we're ambitious, but we're not stupid. We're gonna bring our team with us. Here we go. Into the fray, with me to victory. Intent achieved. You completed your triumph intent. It looks like we've won the first one, did we? Yes, contest winners. The Basilius is unbeatable. Jesus, look at this guy. What did we do to him? Oh my word. Up next is the joust in about 50 days. Interesting. We've been impressed by this man, Ingvar, who we've seen just wandering around the place and sparring. We've approached him, but he says he is just a peasant and nothing more. Now, I'm not going to replace him with my champion. I don't think we'd go that far, but I will say we must see you compete and we'll sponsor him for 10 gold. Watch him be the one that beats me in the joust now. Here we go, the joust begins. First opponent is Magistrate Kuno over here. Now, we can persuade our groom to give our horse's hindquarters a hearty slap. 225 gold is a bit extreme, but we can afford it, why not? What is this? Sabotage. Lord Evangelos, one of the contestants in the upcoming joust, has accused Master Aram of foul play. He was trying to poison Lord Avalanche's II's horse, swapping stable feed for tainted branches. Cheating demands disqualification, I'm afraid. Here we go, full tilt. I think I saw a tail in a prior pass. Oh my god, we killed him. We actually killed him. We didn't just win, he's dead. Kuno was maimed for his efforts and died soon thereafter. That was not our intention. Sorry about that, my friend, but victory nonetheless. Up next is Lord Evangelos II, the man who asked me to intervene when his opponent was cheating. Let's see if we can beat him. Oh, we've been gashed. We've been wounded. I can say I'm made of sterner stuff than that, and we can continue, or I can concede. I think we continue. We continue despite being wounded. I'm starting to think I should have taken a look at Succession before I went to this tournament. Here we go, same again. I think I saw a tell in a prior pass. Victory, there we go, and he's not dead this time. Oh, I'm facing him again in the final. Okay, we can do it again. Oh, he's fallen off his horse before the match even started. Fetch my physician. We have no interest in winning without honor, and I'm also not out to kill my vassals. Oh, that's a shame. I didn't even get a chance to have any input into it, but Hypatios has beat us in the final. So close. This Hypatios here is very decent though. He is just a governor's caravan master, but he's strong, comely, a logistician, and a brilliant strategist. You, my friend, I want to get into my court. Let me pin you and we'll get you over later. Here we go, time for the duel. I am ready. Now, because I have the Hasteluder and the Aspiring Blades Master trait, I am ambidextrous and I can fight with both hands. Here we go, time to intimidate him. Are you scared? Uh-oh, it looks like we should have been. He's after beating us. That is what it is. We're not going to say he cheated. It is what it is. Now, Casarios here ended up winning the duel. To be fair, he is a legendary Blade Master, so that is to be expected. Let me actually pin you, though, and invite you to court, because we could most certainly have uses for you. Here we go, the last contest coming up soon, and it is the horse race. Of course, I'm going to bet on myself, my best horse, Downpour. 75 gold for a possible 675 return. And we've received some good news during the tournament. My son Augustus has had another daughter, Celia, here. Amazing, and she is hale and intelligent. This is great to see, but so far I'm seeing a lot of granddaughters getting these traits. Hold on, offer of military assistance. Am I in a war? I'm in 2 wars. Okay, I didn't even get a notification for this because I was too locked in on the actual tournament. Where are these even happening? We have an invasion over here, and we have a conquest over here. So like before, I'm gonna send in the Brotherhood of the Holy Sepulchre to deal with these men over here, and then I will send my own men-at-arms to deal with the war in the south. I'm very grateful I got the offer of military assistance, as otherwise I wouldn't even know a war was occurring. Here we go, I can shout at my rider on the final lap, hit them in the face. Let's see, the horse race is over. Did we win? We actually did. Amazing. Our wager pays off and we have gained champion racehorse. Winning 2 out of the 4 events is not bad, and we may as well give a speech as well, gaining some opinion within the courtly vassals. Now, the plague is also gone, so I can emerge from seclusion. Probably should have checked that before we actually held the tournament. Technically, I held that tournament while in seclusion, but let's emerge from seclusion. Glad to be back, and of course, we will get rid of our regency as well. We have come across another historical character here, Joseph Trakiniotes. He was a general active during the late 11th century, primarily known for his military campaigns against the Seljuk Turks, as well as the defense of Nicaea. We can have a man like this serve us well, why not? Oh no, my daughter Martha, 22, is dead. She had to have been killed. She wasn't even ill. Oh, she died in childbirth. Oof. She did not deserve this. Now, another twist on the tale of Iberia, we now have a heresy that's popped up in Asturias, amazingly. It is Polysynianism. I will immediately demand this man's conversion back to Orthodoxy. It'll probably continue to spread a little bit, but we'll be able to sort it out. Now, we've also been able to deal with the 2 random wars that we inherited and almost completely missed, which is great to see. Our vassals are continuing to expand. We have even more titles that can now be created here. Now, we can also now complete our Legend Chronicle of a new Caesar. Let's absolutely do this. Thank you very much. The Book of the House of Angelos toward eternal glory. Now, we're going to actually do the Pilgrim of the World legend. I feel like that fits in quite a bit, considering we've actually visited all of the Orthodox holy sites. We'll get this one going. This will give us the ability to evangelize the realm. We don't really need the holy wars anymore, but evangelizing the realm will be very nice. Alright, so currently I have my steward converting culture inside of all of my individual counties. If we look at culture, interestingly, some of them are Greek, some are actually Bralian, which was a Greek hybridization, but I want to start with my county so I get the bonuses in my holdings, and then we'll also be expanding out Latin to make sure it covers all of Thessalonica for the Iberian decision as well. But ultimately, we're kind of just waiting for things to take place in order to fully control Iberia. In the meantime, though, what we can actually do is go for the rest of Scandinavia. We can also take it in one fell swoop, thanks to our Roman invasion of Empire, and just grab all of the remaining lands here that Scandinavia holds. There's going to be lots of sieging here, so I am indeed going to raise the entire army. This will probably take them about 3 years just to get everybody together. I seem to have found an interesting glitch. Look at the shield that I am currently holding in the bottom left, and look what happens to that shield when I look at the other families in the realm. Whoa! Now, it looks like Scandinavia just recently lost a liberty war on top of the fact that we're invading them, so we'll keep going to grab all of these lands up here. I think over time we'll be able to vassalize a lot of the lands that broke free as well, because they are all Orthodox. Now, interestingly, my grandson, Theodosius Angelos, can also marry. Interestingly, he has the same name as the son that was taken from us, and obviously is our namesake as well. We're going to marry him off to this woman here, who is pretty. See if we can get some of these physical traits going, along with the fact that he is already Herculean. There we go. After an absolute grind in Scandinavia, almost everybody is starving. It's a nightmare moving through these provinces. It's also making me rethink our army composition. We may want to get even more siege going inside of these armies, because that's the main thing slowing us down. It will help a ton when we actually unlock trebuchets as well, but at least for now, Scandinavia is ours. Now then, I'm actually going to destroy the Empire of Scandinavia as well. The de jure vassals won't like it and will lose some legitimacy, but I don't want the realm splitting. Alright, well that is Scandinavia's lands fully handed out between Finland, Sapmi, Sweden, as well as Norway. To be honest, it was a bit of a nightmare. There was one man who somehow picked up 4 themes inside of Scandinavia, all in separate regions. So I had to try and sort that out as best as I could. It's not perfect, but it is enough for us to be happy with. With Scandinavia under our control, suddenly it is almost the entire world map to the west that we have under our control. We still need Britannia, Denmark, some land over here, and a lot of southern Africa as well. But once that's all done, the only direction left to go will be east, taking the fight to Mongolia and possibly pushing into India as well. Realistically, it looks like this run may indeed turn into a Roman world conquest, which will be interesting because despite all of my hours in Crusader Kings 3, I've never actually taken over the whole map. And what better way to finish a series of restoring the Roman Empire than leaving it with a Roman Empire with nothing left to conquer. Succession is still also a question, by the way. I think whoever I decide is going to be our next heir, I will likely give the Kingdom of Germany to. I am more than happy to start giving out more and more kingdom titles here because I am inheriting things on cooldown from my vassals, and I'd much rather deal with it at a king level than at a duchy level. Thank you all so much for watching. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Massive shout out to all of our channel members helping to support the channel, and as always, a special shout out to our Emperor's Hands tier, Faustbread, Spencer Roberts, and Batch Plays. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you all in the next video.